Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of the UX Clinic. My name is Jorge Simons and I'll be your host for today. Before I introduce a great bunch of people, I'd just like to remind you that you can visit theuxclinic.com for amazing content. We have video on demand for every single one of our case studies, do it yourself infographics if you are a UX, uh, let's say, starter level designer. And if that wasn't enough, full reports on every case study and how to implement our recommendations based on our UX research. So anyway, without further ado, here's the design team. Today we have Diana Arballo, Miguel Medina, and Arturo Ruiz. Say hi, guys.
Hey.
There they are. They have been working their butts off for the past 3 weeks alongside with Alex Garcia del Bosque. He's CEO and co-founder of the Staytuned App. So we're gonna jump right into him. Can you tell us, Alex, what's your role in Staytuned and what Staytuned does for their users?
Hello, guys. So Staytuned, it's a startup based in Palo Alto. I'm the CEO and co-founder. So my role is basically try to get investors, try to get people to work with us on the project, but also I am the designer. So I'm not a designer per se. I didn't study design, but that's one of the things that I've been doing in the last around 15 months. So what is Staytuned? Staytuned is a personal app concierge. We do an application that dynamically changes how your smartphone looks. So what we do is we learn where you are as a user, what kind of apps do you use depending on the places that you are, and we modify the lock screen of your phone. So we know when you're at home, when you're at work, when you're driving, where you are at the gym, when you are at the Starbucks. So we are always displaying you the most relevant apps. Our whole goal is that you can actually get whatever you need from your phone with just one click.
It's kind of hard to describe a founder or co-founder role because most of the time you guys are you're looking for investors, designing, business development, basically everything you can do to help, right?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I can make coffee, I can clean the office, I do pretty much. So it doesn't matter what my title says.
Very well. So please hang out with us for the next 10 to 15 minutes because we're going to need all your feedback at the end of our recommendation session. And let's kick it off with our traditional question, which basically is, why did you guys choose such a sappy method called love letter and breakup letter? Are you romantic today or what's going on?
Yeah, nah. Well, kind of. So yeah, when we started the research, we discovered that Staytuned is having one of the biggest challenge that the most of the companies experience when they launch a product or a service. I'm talking about challenge related with the user retention. So when we define a scope as a team, we decide to search for a method that help us to identify the loyalty to the brand. In this case, the loyalty that the user has for Staytuned. So we decide that the love letter and the breakout letter is a great method for that because it helps you to identify the emotional connection that the user has with your product, but at the same time, it provides you the expectations and aspirations that the users has when they know about your product, when they see it at the first time, what happens in their minds or what they expect from the product. And in the other hand, we have the reasons that why they break up with you. In this case, that why they decide to end the relationship with your product. And also, it gives you the information related with the how and when they decide to do that. When they decide to abandon your brand and end the relation. So this is why we choose this method for this case study. And yeah, it's kind of emotional. It's not romantic that you say it, but it's related with how the people have the connection with your product in an emotional way.
So basically, a user that is a bit more emotionally attached to a brand is more likely to stay. That means user acquisition would be a higher, let's say, a higher percentage.
It's like when you are proud of some brand, you want to share with your people. You want to the people know that you are using that product, and this method it's useful to identify that. But also, as I already explained, it's helpful to identify when they decide it's the moment to end the relation.
So what happened with the letters? You got a bunch of users. They wrote love letters and breakup letters, and then what happened? Uh, what happened with the data, basically?
Okay. Mm, as we want to find out that why the users leave or decides to uninstall the app, we recruit users that used Staytuned in the past, and we want to know why decide to break up. So we recruited 7 users, and we conducted a workshop with them. We give them just paper and a pencil, and letting them to write these bold letters. In the first step of this workshop, they express their expectations of Staytuned, and they wrote literally their dear Staytuned, and they express all the feelings and all the things that they like it about the product. But once they finish this letter, we move to the breakup, and this is the most interesting part of the workshop, because once they finish to write the bold letters, we ask them to read it out loud, and they express their emotions, and we were able to read their body language. When they felt frustrated, they put some emphasis in the things that they don't like it, and it was super fun and interesting to see how they express the things that they like it, or the things that they make them frustrated about the Stay Tuned. So it was a great experience. So once we finish this workshop, we we have to find a way to read this information and analyze it. And we decided to go with another method that is called Elito. We use it in another case studies, and this is a great method. And I'm going to shut out my mouth right now because I talk a lot. And maybe Miguel or Arturo wants to explain what we did with Elito.
Yeah, I'll take it. So yeah, love letter and breakout letter gave us a lot of information, feedback, and insights for directly from the users. But we can take all of this feedback directly, literally. So because some of the feedback can be some kind of subjective. For example, if a user tells you that they dislike some kind of element, for example, a button, his feedback will be like, "Oh, I don't like the button because it's red, and I don't like the red color." So based on that, we can take all the feedback so literally, and we can put attention on all of the feedback. So we choose a little method, a method that let us synthesize all the information gathered from the breakup and love letters, filter which of them are most critical or are more important, so we can put more attention and detail on them for the next application iteration. A little method ends with some design proposals. We detected 10, but we're focusing just on 4 on them for this design iteration that we're explaining right away.
So the first one that we are going to explain is the onboarding process, and I want to start with a quote, and it says, well, not a quote exactly, just extract from a letter. So it says, the app needs too much information to start, and I had a hard time setting up the address for my home and work, and I don't know if I did it right. So we have in the next screen the onboarding process that the Staytuned actually have. So you can see there that it has a lot of steps, and sometimes it can confuse or get the user frustrated to complete this long process into using the app, the real application. So what we're trying to do here is to use progressive disclosure, which the main purpose of this is to focus on the main and basic information required to complete a task. and give the user that satisfaction that he actually completed something, and let them move forward into using the application. So we have the mocks that we're proposing are three, and in the first one we have the welcome screen, which will introduce what the application do and what the application offer the user, and it will explain that you need to create scenes in order for the application to learn from you, from your habits, and based on the time and location that you are at the time. So the second screen you have create your first scene, and it'll be easy, and it's kind of important feature to have. Well, since users wants to create their own scenes, since they don't do users don't do similar things from other users. They don't want to settle for work or for home, since they don't always do the same things. So they just want to create their own, and it'll be easy. Just type your name, and you will have your first scene, and you'll have an extra of a successful um, note that will tell you that you can create more scenes as you like, or edit them or remove them, and this will allow the user the satisfaction and allow them to continue using the application right away and not feeling frustrating about waiting for use it.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest challenge that we faced during our research, that it's take this decision to break the current onboarding process and break it in two parts, because right now the actual onboarding process it requires at least three different processes. The first one is related with the benefits of the Staytuned. The second one, it's about setting up your scenes like work or home. And the last one, it's about to make Staytuned as the log screen by default. So these three processes at the same time, it's hard for the users, that make them feel confused or lost, and even they feel that they they are not sure if the things that they set up it's correct or right. So for that, we are breaking this process into parts, and the second part of the onboarding is related with the set up the log screen as a default. And one of the users wrote in one of the breakup letters that I need to unblock my phone 2 times. It takes too much time, and when it should be easy. And this unfortunately, this user never didn't know how to create or set up Staytuned as a default lock screen, and she had 2 horrible weeks unblocking 2 times every single time that she wants to access to notifications or apps in their phone. And the reason that it happens is because she put a lot of attention into the onboarding. She saw the video, she read all the benefits, she set out the different scenes, but at the moment when she wants to do that part of the process, she get confused, and she couldn't understand and set up correctly this important feature. So what we are suggesting here is to, as I mentioned, separate this part of the process from the onboarding, and showing once they launch the app, once they feel that they accomplished something, and in their first unblock, it should be appeared this screen that we have in the right, that it select log screen, and here Staytuned will let you know, the user, that hey, I found that you have to log screen activated. Let's go and make Staytuned as a default. So this will be like a walkthrough with the user, and take their hand and go with the user to the settings of his phone and select Staytuned as a default. This is a separate process, and the user will be focused 100% in that, and they will be able to accomplish this important task.
So one of the opportunity areas, or the opportunity areas that we detected, is about notifications and how the users interact with the lock screen. Here's a direct quote from a user from lab letter, breakout letter, that says, "My phone is not predictable. It confuses me a lot. It makes me think I'm doing the swipes correctly, or if the red or green colors and my notifications mean something else."
I think you're muted, Arturo.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
So users often get confused about how you interact with the lock screen because right now when you tap on a notification it turns red, but if you tap on them again it turns green, and the users get often confused because they don't really know what's really happening on the screen on their phones. So on the workshop, users also say that the lock screen lacks of useful information. For example, when the phone is charging or when it's connected to a Wi-Fi network or a 3G network. So as we can see, we're proposing to return the kind of useful information from the users. And another issue that we detected is that icons are confusing. For example, right now on the application, the do not disturb icon is like a do not pass icon that you see on the signs in the streets. That doesn't really mean anything in the context on the phone, but and it also doesn't look like it's an actionable, like you can tap on them and you go do something. It looks like it's saying something, but you don't know why. So we're proposing to standardize the way the icons are displayed. For example, and on the right side, we can see a bell icon. This is often used for display notifications around a lot of operating systems. That is more familiar for the users to interact with the kind of icons instead of displaying icons that they don't really saw on this kind of operating systems. And also, we're proposing to standardize the way that we interact with the screen, like gestures. For example, um, if you type on, as I said before, you type on the notification, it turns green, it turns red, and it turns a lot of colors, but it doesn't really mean anything. Because right now the normal behavior on Android lock screen is that you tap on a notification, it should send you to the real application. So or even unlocking the screen is kind of a gesture, because you swipe the lock icon on the bottom, you swipe from bottom to the top, but the animation moves the screen from top to the bottom. So users get often confused with the kind of behavior. Um, Also, we read off of some elements on the lock screen. The people often get some kind of confused with them. For example, um, the current scene right now has a drop-down menu, but a lot of users doesn't even know that there was a hidden menu right there. And some of the feedback letters say that the lock screen is already cluttered with a lot of information for them, and a lot of them is not some kind of useful for them. So we read off of some of those elements to make the interface so much cleaner and clearer. Um, Next, I'm going to read a quote that we got from a letter. They say, "Why I cannot see more than 3 notifications or a little preview? You look like I can configure you at my hard content, but the truth is I can't." So right now, the application has a space for displaying 3 notifications at once, and it can display more than 3. You can scroll on them, but there's no visual indicator on the application that lets you know that you can scroll on the part. And a lot of users keep days thinking that they only have 3 notifications, so they can only display 3, but you can really scroll them. So our proposal is to display a visual indicator that you have more notifications or than the 3 on them. For example, right now here we're saying that we put some indicator like you have 4 more notifications, and when you tap on them on the right screen, we can see an expanded view of the notification tray that displays all of your notifications and give you a visual indicator that you have more than 3. Also, we are proposing changing a little bit the way you interact with the notifications. For example, instead of turning red or green, that doesn't really mean anything for the user. We're suggesting like pop up some notifications when you tap on them, and giving some actions to give it to the user, like reply the message or make a call directly from the notification. This makes the phone the lock screen most useful. And the last one is a feature that a lot of users really like is the appointment view. A lot of users say the next appointment view was a really cool feature that they really love. So we are suggesting implement some improvements for them. For example, if you tap right now, if you tap on the next appointment section, it doesn't do anything. But we suggest if you tap on the next appointment, it should send you to the calendar or an expanded view of your appointment. That will make your phone more predictable and more useful, and prevent the user to be guessing what the elements or the items on the lock screen really do.
Yeah, I remember when they read loud the love letter, then they express admiration and um, I don't know how to say it, but they were so happy with this feature that is the next appointments that you should keep working on it because it was one of the biggest strengths that we found on the research. Well, to finish, our last recommendation is regarding with as Staytuned has well, as Staytuned right now, if Staytuned implement our recommendations regarding with the onboarding process, we want to propose Staytuned walkthrough. What it does is have some small hints next to each different element or useful tools, and let the user know what this feature could do for them. This walkthrough, I'm sorry, this walkthrough, it will be appeared maybe in the first 10 days once they launch the app, and this will be helpful for make the users be ready to embrace all the new functionalities and all the awesome things that Staytuned can do for them. So this will be a way to be sure that they will be I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I think I'm going to lose my voice. Sorry.
Please don't die. Not in the middle of the show. Don't die.
Yeah, I think. Oh, sorry. Well, this will be a way to help to users to understand all the strengths and the cool features that Staytuned has for them. And it will be, as Miguel explained before, in small pieces of information, and they will be familiar with this awesome product. This is our recommendations and improvements for their next iteration, and that's pretty much about our feedback today.
So you guys summed it up in the takeaways. Who wants to take it away? Play on words there. Got it.
Sure. The first takeaway will be, as I explained before, the progressive disclosure, and it's basically taking the user through the onboarding process one step at a time, and not saturating not saturating him with information and making him frustrated and wanting to leave the process. So that's basically it.
Yeah. Here's my voice. Yes, here's. The second takeaway, it's about the personalization and customization. As we know, all the people are different. This is not something new. There's not something that we just discover. But that means that the people wants to personalize their own experience. So this is important for everybody who is building or creating a product. Let the users create their own scenes. Let the users create their own experience to embrace the product and be loyal to the brand.
Number 3. You're on mute, Arturo, again.
He's muted. Arturo.
You're not?
You're
Yeah,
not?
we can hear
I
you.
can hear you. Go ahead.
So I'll take the third one. So it's follow the standard gesture to provide natural experience, and it's just to implement a new, well, non-new gesture, just to give the user another workload on how the process will be. Instead, just normalize all the gestures that's with something that they're used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
The fourth takeaway, it's related with the feedback. Let the users know what's going on, how my voice, my God. And this is related with the users wants to know what is happening because they want to feel in charge, they want to feel in control, and you have to follow the standards regarding what some gestures and functionalities that it should be natural. It should be a natural experience for them. So this is important. This is an important takeaway too.
So that's it. All the recommendations and the summary. Now it's time to go back to Alex to see what his feedback is, if he has any questions or um, basically anything. Go ahead.
Okay, guys. Well, first of all, thank you very much for the great work. I mean, I had the chance to visit the team yesterday in their offices, and it was actually great to see all the work that you guys have done. I mean, some of these things we kind of seen ourselves, but it's actually really helpful that, I mean, have someone that actually takes the structure approach to actually look at all these things that we actually need to work on and also prioritizing it. And now that I get to see the
Oh, you think you're freezing up?
Yeah,
Or
he's frozen. My voice is gone and he's frozen. Alex?
no, I think
Yeah, I
the
think.
internet has betrayed us all. Okay. So anyway, I think we can wait a few seconds more, and if he's not back, then. So what I got from this episode is it's a lot about simplifying and telling the users what at what point of their they are, right. You don't need 14 screens, for example, to walk them through the app. Maybe just one, two, or three, and then signal them that they're doing it right. That's what I got from the natural way. Oh, since he's back.
I think he's back.
Nah, he's not gonna be back. So let's just wrap it up then. Is there anything you guys want to say before we leave? I'm
Well,
sorry, leave him out of it.
yeah. Well, I just want to thank to the whole team here in the Hangout, but also the people who help us in the back. I'm talking about Fausto, Bani, Marisol, and Isael. And also to all the users that were super nice to help us with our research. I just want to thank these people. So thank you so much.
Okay, guys, UX is all about making money, by the way. There's a lot of research and a lot of theoretical things around it, but it's all about creating great products and making users, well, happy, I guess. So we're gonna have a later session with Alex to talk about it. He lost connection a bit while he was giving his feedback, but we'll see you in 3 weeks time for a new episode of the UX Clinic, guys. See ya.
Bye.